Happy Turkey Day, everyone. That's right, today is Thanksgiving. And no, that's not why I'm actually wearing this nice shirt. But today we're going to be going over 5 bad pieces of writing advice. So let's get to it. Welcome back, collective of awesomeness. I am Tim Green, your amazing leader. Yeah, now amazing just doesn't sound right, but I used awesomeness. I write under the pen name T Green, and today we are talking bad writing advice. Before we go any further, I just want to apologize for not having a video up last week. The video I was trying to get done just kind of fell apart. I recorded it twice, and in the middle of the second time I realized things weren't in order. I'm going to still do that video, I just gotta really spend a little bit more time making sure everything's in the right order. Well, let's go move on to today's video. And like I've already mentioned, bad writing advice. There's tons out there. Today I'm picking the 5 worst pieces of writing advice I have heard. And let me be clear, this is my opinion, but also, honestly, a lot of this advice isn't bad, it's how it's received, or people who think they understand what the advice is actually saying and don't, and pass it on to other people. Why don't we just jump right in? Yeah, let's do that. Bad advice number 1, create a marketing strategy. I personally cannot believe that I found this when I Googled writing advice. Because it's not writing advice, it's marketing advice. Yes, you have to do marketing if you want to get your book out there to people to buy. But it's not writing advice. You don't need to think this through when you don't even have a book written. Especially if you're a beginner, you should not be thinking about this. It is important, and at some point you will need to do it. So in that case, it is good advice, but not when you're trying to write the damn book. That is its own thing. Again, it's marketing advice, not writing advice. Let's stop putting stuff like that into writing advice. It's not writing, it's marketing. Bad advice number 2, work on one project at a time. This isn't bad advice, but it is. Yeah, this piece of advice is taken it way wrong by most people, because either someone who's telling you to do this doesn't understand this advice, or the person hearing it interprets it wrong. This is not in any way, shape, or form saying you can only work on one book until it's finished. That may work for some people. It's not what this advice is saying. What you need to get from this piece of advice is get shit done. That's all it's talking about. If you're jumping from project to project to project, you're never gonna get one done because you're chasing after the feeling of new and exciting, and at times projects you've been working on for a long time will get old. You will feel like you are sick of working on it. And if you keep working, eventually you will break through that feeling. So this advice is get shit done. It's probably what people should be saying instead of work on one project at a time. Yes, when you're writing a book, you should focus on that book. But let's say you're one of the fortunate people who actually gets a writing contract, and you have to write your book, but you also you're writing another book, or you have one that you're editing, or you're developing one. You may be in a way that you have to be working on multiple things at different times. This piece of advice basically says you're doing it wrong. No, when you're working on one project, your mind should be focused on that project so you get it done. If you're writing and an idea comes up for another project or for a new one, push it to the back of your mind and focus. Maybe if that doesn't work for you, write the idea down immediately and then push through. Ignore it. Because once you write that down, once you acknowledge the idea, your brain's gonna want to leap on it. Ignore it and get back to work. Bad advice number 3, write what you know. Write what you know. Good advice, but lacking. But according to this advice, the fact that I love fantasy, but also love 15th century Japanese culture, but know nothing about it, guess I can't write about it. So like I said already, this is good advice, and it actually helped me at a time where I was finally pushing the longest project I've worked on consistently to the side because it was a disaster. I had to come down to what am I going to write now? I don't know. I had different projects here and there, and I eventually ultimately came down to the idea, write what you know. One of the biggest problems, and I've fallen into this trap myself, is when people say write what you know, you instantly have to think what you know right there, right now. And they think of knowledge. That's it. Maybe there's people who will think of experiences, but generally I've talked to people, they think of their knowledge. What do I know? Oh, I know how to whittle. I know how to make videos. I know I can draw. Yeah, stuff like that. I know how to hack. And you go through the list of things. But no one really seems to think of experiences. If you don't know what to write, dive into your experiences. Maybe you had an experience where you were out in the middle of nowhere and your father just passed away and you need to get home for his funeral. And guess what? Where you are, there's a blizzard. And you have to either stay put or try to traverse the land to get 20 miles to a place where you can actually get a flight or a car or somewhere so you can get back to civilization. Well, maybe all you did was sit in the tent and waited for the blizzard to end, or your cabin, wherever you were in. But you say, well, I can't, it doesn't help. Yeah, you do. You know what it's like to be somewhere, need to be somewhere else, and can't get there. And you know those feelings that you felt. But you have that experience. You can draw from it. That whole example right there is a story. Wow, that was easy. You can pull from your own experiences, your own life. That's one thing I think people don't look at is their own experience. The other thing people don't think about when they hear this advice is, I don't know something, but I want to write about it. I guess I can't write it. Go research it. I know nothing about 15th century Japanese culture. Well, I kind of know some about Japanese culture. Go research that, and now you know it, and you can write about it. You can use that information. And trust me, this one right here is a trap that I've fallen into for years. I actually never even thought about this until I put it in this video. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know something. Oh, I can just research it. And I've talked about research in my videos before. So this advice is flawed because of the way people usually tell you it, and how the person who hears it or reads it on the internet interprets it. They always seem to interpret as you currently are. When you hear this advice, please think it through. I never did until yesterday. It probably would have helped me a lot in the last 10 years. Bad advice number 4, write a catchy title. And yes, this advice was classified for beginners. Hold on. I don't have any glasses, so we're gonna fake it. What does Catchy's titles have to do with writing? Facepalm looks so much better than doing the fake glasses and the nose pinch thing. Absolutely. Can someone please tell me that? What does this have to do with writing? Now, is it a good idea to have a catchy title? Yes. Do you need to know that when you're about to start your writing project? No. Does a beginner who may be writing their first novel for the first time need to know that? Fuck no. Holy, this is marketing advice all over again, people. Oh. Ugh. Having a title for your project is a big help. It helps you link ideas to something. I try to get a title for a project as soon as I possibly can because I know when I'm thinking about it, I can say, oh, I'm gonna go work on this project. I say the title and all the ideas come up to my head because I've linked those ideas to this name. Is it a catchy title? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe it is. Is it going to be the title of the book or the series or whatever I'm writing? I'm probably going to use it if I can, but maybe there'll be a better title later on. If I'm getting published traditionally, they're going to pick the title. It could be something different. So having a title just for the point of writing helps. Trying to come up with a catchy title before you've ever written anything? No! Like I've already said, it's marketing advice. You don't need to focus on marketing when you don't have something to market. I'm gonna slap my face way too much in this video. What am I talking about? And finally, bad writing advice number 5. World build to your story. This is the most common writing advice you get when it comes to world building. It's like the top thing I see lots of people give out about world building. I hate it because it's too simple. Okay, like I said, this is not bad advice. My personal preference is I just don't like this advice. It's just that I don't like when people say it to everyone because it's said to people without caring by some people or without thinking through someone else's experience of writing or their preference. If you can't tell, I'm one of those people who loves world building. Telling me this advice is the only way to do it because a lot of people say it like it's the only way to do it is going to piss me off. It's going to show me you don't care about where I stand on anything because it comes off as a rule of writing versus an opinion of writing. And as we've all probably heard before, there are no rules of writing. That's the big thing. Beginners this is good for. For more experienced people, don't tell them this. If it's your opinion, state it as your opinion. But don't say it as it's a fact in the only way. The main reason why I don't like this advice is it's saying the story is more important than the world. And the story is important. But the world your story is going to take place in is important. And I've seen too many stories that the world fit too perfectly to the story and didn't feel real. And that's a problem for me. If the world doesn't feel like a real world, the story in it is not going to work for me. And the world the story takes place in is just as important as the story. There is no one higher than the other. The other thing is this advice is good for is for beginners. If you're new and you've never world built before, it's a task to world build. And you're new. So this advice works good for beginners. There is so much more in writing that they have to learn and understand before world building. Like tone, character arcs, story arcs, POV, all that crap, and much more. If you tell a beginner to focus on world building versus story and all that other stuff, that's really bad advice. That's all I got for you guys today. Comment down below what you thought on my bad writing advice, and if you have bad writing advice of your own that you were given, please comment down. I'd love to hear it. Especially if I get enough, I'll do another video on it. But on your way down to comment, make sure you go and give me a thumbs up. You're clearly made it to the end of this. You made it to this. Wow, you made it to the end of this video, so you clearly like what you were listening to and watching. So give me a thumbs up. When you're on your way down, past that, make sure you hit subscribe, ring the bell, and join the collective. It's the best way to find out when my videos go live. But there's gonna be a NaNoWriMo video going up tomorrow. If you want to know when it goes live, being part of the collective will tell you that. So go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell. I want to say become one of us, but I just don't like that tagline. I can't let Adam think I like his tagline for 01 Pod. Yeah, I just can't do that. No. Speaking of the 01 Podcast group, my buddy Adam Daly and I do a writing podcast on world building. Funny, I just talked about world building today. We are building a brand new world for you live, where we talk about how we go about it, gives advice, and we record our planning sessions so you can see how we go about doing stuff when we develop worlds. I will have links down below to those episodes, and go over and give us a look. We're awesome. It's called the Writer's Mindscape. In the meantime, you can find me on social media. That's up on screen. Be sure to go check me out over in Instagram, where I have artwork from different projects, stuff I'm doing now up there, as well as videos from my writing trips to different locations in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and New York. The locations that all show up in my upcoming novel, Seeing Through the Veil. So go check those out. I do have links to all the videos that are posted now, and there are more coming. One of these days, I swear I'll get more up there. But yeah, go check me out over there for that. I love getting feedback on my artwork and other stuff I'm doing there. And that's all I have for you this week. Like I said, there will be a video tomorrow. If you're not a member, if you're not part of the collective, you should subscribe. That will be up tomorrow. In the meantime, I hope NaNoWriMo is going well for all those of you who are participating. If you haven't noticed, behind me, that is my NaNoWriMo screen. I'm currently at 35,909 words. And I still have 2 more scenes to write today. I hope you have a good week. Bye.